Hello students, again we were going to discuss about the that test which was our test that was the hepatitis test, hepatitis B surface antigen or Australian test that we can do. It's not specified in this, but I will tell you in detail what is that of that test. Hepatitis B surface antigen test or HBsAg Australian antigen. In this, what we do, the detection of HBsAg in the serum is the most important diagnostic parameter for a viral hepatitis B. Yes, here detection of that HBsAg enzyme in the serum should be there. That is an antigen. So hepatitis B virus is transmitted through the infected body fluid. This we know that how it transmits through the body. So acute infection means little infection also can cause hepatitis, presenting with jaundice and vomiting. Symptoms like jaundice and vomiting can be appear in acute phase, and in chronic infection means of longer duration, it can lead to liver cirrhosis, also failure of liver and functioning, and hepatocellular carcinoma, cancer of the cells of the hepatic system. Second is the antigen can be detected in the serum in the same hepatitis B surface antigen test. In this, the antigen can be detected in the serum 2 to 3 weeks before the onset of the disease feature and attains the maximum titer on development of characteristic symptoms like icterus elevated GOT. So what we do here we do the things. Detection should be done after 2 to 3 weeks of attaining the disease. The special significance of detection of HBsAg is the screening of blood donors. So in this, what we do, firstly we have to test the donor's blood which has been given to the patient, and then the test of the patient's serum for HBsAg positive or symptoms like icterus or elevated GOT we can see. Now we will going to discuss about the VDRL test. Here we have seen that the VDRL test is a modified form of precipitation test. Here we have seen Venereal Disease Research Laboratory test. It is for syphilis and the flocculation test, and it is a modified form of precipitation test. So we are going to see the VDRL test. Is used for the, here antigen is used for finding out the test. Venereal Disease Research Laboratory is a blood test for syphilis and is named after Venereal Disease Research Laboratory where it was developed. What are the principles on which it works? The principle of phospholipid cardiolipin, which is a type of phospholipid derived from the beef heart muscle of beef it is derived, together with cholesterol and lecithin is used as an antigen. Antibody produced by the patient with syphilis, means the patient having syphilis produce the antibodies. It reacts with those antigen that the antigen obtained from the beef, leading to foaming of the testis fluid, means the tube in which that solution reacts, there is a foaming, मतलब वहाँ पे एक झाग बनता है like that. And that is a flocculation, मतलब वो liquid ऊपर नीचे flocculate करेगा. It will not be stable and it will accumulate there. These flocculates can be observed with naked eyes. It can be observed without microscope, or little hand lens can be used, or low power objective of a microscope when the reaction is weak. So in this way we can detect the syphilis antibodies. Now the next one is the Widal test. So Widal test is also the type of that same test, precipitation test. So let's see. Widal test is a form of agglutination test, as we have seen here. This one is the Widal test, and it comes in the agglutination test. So Widal test, what is Widal test? Here, the Widal test is a serological test for typhoid fever. This test demonstrates the presence of somatic O and flagellar H agglutinins to Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi is a type of bacteria which causes the typhoid. It is present in the patient serum. So, for doing the test of the presence of typhoid, what is happening here? The test is done in presence of somatic O and flagellar H, and these are introduced in the patient's serum or sample, and then it agglutines or it collects and reacts with Salmonella typhi in the patient serum and form the agglutination in the tube. So, this is called as Widal test. If the agglutination is formed, then it shows the presence of the typhoid. If no reaction takes place, so there is no typhoid. And second, after that comes a tuberculin skin test. Tuberculin skin test is done for the TB or tuberculosis. Tuberculin skin test is a screening tool for tuberculosis. Montauk's test, Mantous, Montauk's test, also known as purified protein derivative (PPD) test, is most common form of this test performance. Tuberculin skin test or Montauk's test or PPD test, all three names are same. So what happened? How we can perform in this test? Let's see. The procedure is about 0.2 ml PPD is injected intradermally inside the dermis area and read about after 48 to 72 hours later. A person who has been exposed to the bacteria is expected to mount, means that the person is having that bacteria, TB bacteria, tuberculosis bacteria, so that person's skin will form a mount-like area with an immune response in the skin containing the bacterial proteins. The reaction is read by measuring the diameter. Now this elevated area is measured in terms of diameter by induration of palpated or raised or hardened area across the forearm in millimeters. It is measured in millimeter only with a scale. Erythema means the redness is present. That should not be measured. Only the palpated area should be measured. The induration of more than 10 mm means that is formed which is of more than 10 mm in that it will indicate positive tuberculin test, means if the person is having TB. And if it is less than 10 mm but more than 5 mm, then it is a doubtful case and test may be repeated again. However, in HIV, AIDS or immunocompromised patient, immunocompromised means immunity suppressed patient, even induration of more than 5 mm is considered as positive test. These are the fatal tests. Fatal disease like HIV and AIDS, here little 5 mm raised is also considered as positive. If the patient's HIV is infected with TB, so 5 mm is elevated area, so that person is having TB. Normally, if it is less than 5 mm, so patient is not having TB. A tuberculin skin test is done in the following people. We can see people who have been in close contact with someone known to have TB, healthcare workers who are likely to be exposed to TB, people with TB symptoms such as ongoing cough, night sweats, weight loss for no other reason. These persons can have TB. People who have had an abnormal chest X-ray, having abnormal chest X-ray will also denote the presence of TB. A tuberculin skin test should not be done for the people. This test should not be done for the people like they are already having TB infection. We are known that they are having TB infection, so no need to do the tuberculin skin test. Positive tuberculin test in the past, if the person is already having tuberculin skin test performed in the past, so no need to do the same tuberculin skin test, because a second test may cause more severe reaction than the TB antigen. That's why it may harm the patient. Skin rash, that would make it hard to read the skin test. Yes, it may cause a skin rash. So in the skin rash, again the tuberculin skin test, it is done so patient result cannot be right. Now the next is specimen collection. We have seen the backward that how the sample is collected in the previous chapter, previous portion. So how there the sample collection is done and then how it is gone for laboratory analysis. Here we are going to see this. The process of specimen collection, handling and processing are important areas which can cause the errors in that result. So it is necessary that they should be handled properly. It is necessary to know the size and method of sample collection, potential causes of error, and also important to label samples properly so to minimize the wrong result. Yeah, we can do that. Should be labeled properly and the sample should be importantly carried out. So let's see what are the things we need to know. First one is the phlebectomy. So the phlebectomy is the process of obtaining blood sample from vein. Here we have seen it in the previous only that if the blood sample you obtain from the vein, then it's called as phlebectomy also. So using a needle attached to a suitable device. If the needle is attached to a suitable device and the blood is obtained from the patient's hand or vein, so this is called as phlebectomy. It is also known as venipuncture. So let's see what are the things. Means venipuncture, the phlebotomy. Here we are collecting the blood sample. So what are the sites and how the method of sample collection should be, what are the errors can occur and how to label it properly so that the wrong results can be minimized. This we are going to see in the example of phlebotomy or venipuncture. Here the vein should not be compressed with tourniquet for a prolonged period. For a long period we should not apply tourniquet as it may be to cause the accumulation of metabolites and can give wrong results. Yes. Then site of sampling should be cleaned with antiseptic solution before taking the blood. The antiseptic method should be used. Swab should be moved concreting rings. Swab should be moved in ring like things. We should do the cleaning of that area, that is from inside to outside, like cyclone type, to minimize the infection. Syringe method should be allowed to fill it slowly. Syringe should be allowed to fill it slowly while transferring the blood into the tube. Pressure should not be applied because it can cause the hemolysis. When we are taking the blood, we should not apply the pressure on that hand area for taking the blood, or veins may get blocked. So blood cannot be transferred properly and because of hemolysis, breakdown of that cells. Blood containing tube should be inverted slowly and several times to mix additive property. When the blood which is contained in the tube, that should be mixed and inverted slowly and mixed several times in order to avoid the infection and additives to mix properly. The most frequent site where the blood is taken in for phlebotomy is antecubital vein. The container which we use are the evacuated collection tube which are commonly used, and the additive tubes may contain additives according to the test required, and the cap of the container is color coded for each of the case of identification. Yes. Some of these are given below. These are important. We should know in practical area. These play very much important role. Types and uses commonly used for blood collection container are color of the cap, and the additive means chemicals, and use, for example, of. Use means why we are using. Red color cap, that tube is having no additive chemicals, and that tube is having no chemicals, and it is used for serum examination. Gray color is used having chemical sodium fluoroxide and potassium oxalate, and the chemical it is used for test of plasma glucose, keeping the blood of plasma glucose test. Purple is having the chemical ethylenediamide. It is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Sorry for the misspelling. The purple color is used for the having the chemical ethylene amine tetraacetic acid, and it is used for the examination of whole blood with agglutinin, anticoagulant like blood counts, etc. Light blue color is having the chemicals of sodium citrate and is used for the examination of coagulation as a platelet count. What are the complications of venipuncture? It can be hematoma formation, rapid swelling at puncture site due to blood leaking into the tissue. Then infection of site due to bacteria present on its skin. Its site is not cleaned up properly. Then continuation of bleeding. Pressure must be applied for a few minutes to promote the coagulation. What are the universal precautions which should be taken? This is an approach to infection control which assumes that all the human body fluids, including blood, are treated as if known to be infectious to HIV or hepatitis B or other blood-borne pathogens. It is a practice of avoiding contact with patient's body fluids by means of the wearing of non-porous articles such as medical gloves, goggles and face shield. These are the precautions we should use, universal precautions, like in these days we are using for corona, like goggles, medical gloves, face mask. These are the universal precautions. So till now I have made you study these things. So I would like to summarize all that topic which I made you to study from the beginning. This was the last part of this chapter, and the topic which I covered in this chapter from the beginning till the end was, firstly we discussed about the blood test. In that we discussed about the hemoglobin, its structure and synthesis, types of hemoglobin. Then we discussed about the method of hemoglobin estimation, how we do. Then we discussed about the two other methods, that are the copper sulfate specific gravity method of that hemoglobin estimation and gasometric method. Then we come to know about the blood cell count, the three types of blood, WBC, RBC and platelet. Then morphology of blood cells, how they look, what are their property. Then we came to know about the hemogram test, which is a kind of laboratory test in which we do the test of like RBC count, total blood count. Then laboratory determination of cell count. Then RBC count, what are the methods, how to do principal procedures, calculation. Then WBC count, the same thing we discussed, principles, calculation, procedure. Then platelet count, the same things. After that we came about the erythrocyte sedimentation rate. In this also the same thing, what was its rate and how to calculate it, what are the principles. Then we discussed about the bleeding time, clotting time and prothrombin time. That was little different, and what are these having meaning, that was this. In which case they are increased and decreased, these were also discussed. Then we discussed about the blood grouping and cross matching, in which we know what is blood grouping and how we determine the blood group, then what is cross matching. Then after that we came to know about the blood biochemistry, in which we discussed about the sample collection, in which it is done by the two methods, serum and plasma method. And some common blood biochemistry tests we also discussed, like plasma glucose estimation test, like fasting sample, postprandial sample and random sample. Then serum urea and serum creatinine test we discussed. Then we discussed about the blood gases. So in that we discussed about the disturbance in the acid balance, in which comes respiratory acidosis, respiratory alkalosis, metabolic acidosis, metabolic alkalosis. Then we discussed about the sample collection, how to do that, and why we prefer the venous blood rather than the arterial blood. Then we discuss about the blood culture, how the sample collection done. And today we discuss about the bone marrow examination, its description, how the procedure is performed, what are the contraindications. Then we discuss about the serological and immunological test and other blood tests, in which the agglutination test, precipitation test, and ELISA test comes. The hepatitis B is a part of the this test, and the VDRL test is a type of precipitation test, and then Vidal test is also a type of agglutination test. Then tuberculin skin test. We have seen the what are the different sample collection methods in order to avoid the errors for laboratory analysis. Then complications of venipuncture and the universal precaution. So thank you for your cooperation and listening to me. Thank you so much.